everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, What Cass Read. First of all, Happy New Year, you crazies. This is January 1st, 2018, and we are here to do a spoiler-free review of Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. Okay, so ever since I finished this book, I've been trying to figure out how am I going to review this? Like, what am I gonna say? Because this book changed a lot of things for me. So you remember when I said that I didn't like pirate books? Do you remember when I said that? I was going on and on and on about how I was like so nervous about the Live Ship Traders trilogy and my quest to continue with all of Robin Hobb's books. This is the second trilogy in her Realm of the Elderlings series. Saga, epic tale. So I was nervous about Ship of Magic for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I was like, I don't like pirate books. And number two, this book is told from a third-person perspective of multiple different characters, where the first books in the Farseer trilogy were told in first person from our main character Fitz's point of view, and he is the main character that kind of drives this whole Realm of the Elderling series forward. And so I was like, I don't want to read a book about not Fitz in the same world. All of these excuses were piling up. So that's how we got here. And oh my god, I love this book. I rated it 4 stars. So Ship of Magic is book number 1 in the Live Ship Traders trilogy. Mainly it's about the Vestrit family, who is this old trading family in Bingtown. The trading families invest in live ships. And live ships are these ships made of this elusive and incredible resource called wizard wood that upon 3 generations of the same family owning and then those captains passing away on the ship decks, the live ship is awakened and the ship head, the masthead, becomes alive and it's a sentient, thinking ship that helps them trade. These ships are able to speak to their captains and speak to their crews because they're sentient thinking beings, so they're able to navigate the waters a little bit better. If a storm is on the horizon, the ships work, you know, in sync, in harmony with the crew. They're able to outrace pirates, like all of these things. Live ships are a really big deal, and the Vestrit family is finally able to awaken their live ship, Vivacia. The head of the Vestrit family does end up passing away. So we follow this family as they're kind of journeying through this whole experience of their live ship being awakened. And then we have a pirate captain who his life's goal is to be able to capture a live ship and be able to have one of these magical sentient thinking ships for himself. We also kind of follow along the overarching society of Bingtown and how it's a changing society. There's slavery that's kind of like pushing its way into Bingtown and they don't want it there. The old ways of these old alliances and live ships are kind of dying out, and then the pirates are taking over, and there's just so many things that happen in this book. Forget what I said about not liking pirate books. This book was amazing. So the world building takes place in the same world, the Realm of the Elderlings world that Robin Hobb has created from the Farseer trilogy, but you don't actually have to have read the Farseer trilogy in order to understand the world in here. And that's what I like about the fact that Robin Hobb has kind of separated each different part of the Realm of the Elderlings into different trilogies, into different chunks. Obviously, as you move forward in the Realm of the Elderlings, it would be important for you to have read a lot of the material ahead of it, otherwise you're not going to understand it. But for the purpose of understanding the world building for Ship of Magic, it doesn't really require a lot of previous knowledge. For understanding Bingtown and the magic that we encounter in Ship of Magic, you don't really need a lot of prior knowledge, and that's why I think a lot of people really enjoy the Live Ship Traders trilogy, just because it's an easy trilogy to read on its own. Robin Hobb takes us into this these trading coastal towns. Bingtown is our main hub, but there are the Pirate Isles, and then there's kind of this booming metropolis that we end up winding our way up there because we're eventually trading our way up there. So we get a lot of different feels of the different ports that we're in. So obviously Bingtown, this being our hub, the world is kind of separated between the old traders and then these new incoming, this new blood, this new rich blood who has a lot of money to spend. They want to settle in these old family held lands, and then the old families don't want to give up those lands and those rights and those trading agreements that they had from before. We also get the the Pirate Isles, so it's a little bit more sleazy and a little bit more piratey. There's a lot of hookers, there's a lot of seedy taverns, and then we get this big metropolis that is kind of this slave state, and so you really get the feel of like this big city where nobody cares about you the way that they do in Bingtown. The other thing about the magic in here, where the magic in the Farseer trilogy was a lot more taboo, where in here, Ship of Magic, magic is much more widely accepted. So the fact that these live ships come to life is well known and respected among the people of Bingtown, and owning a live ship is seen as an honor. It's just something that not everybody has the capability to possess. It's interconnected into this society and all of these trading cities. We follow a lot of different characters in the Ship of Magic. The main character that we are introduced to is the Vestrit family, and we have Althea, who is our young-spirited woman. I don't know how old she's supposed to be. Maybe they said it. She's not a teenager. No. She's definitely a younger woman in her 20s. And she grew up on her family's live ship, the Vivacia, before the Vivacia was quickened and awakened. And she is kind of the apple of her daughter's eye. She thinks that she's going to inherit the live ship once her father passes, and it's kind of something that everyone in the community also feels too. And it turns out when her father passes away, he gifts the live ship to her older sister, which means in turn that the ship is handed off to her brother-in-law Kyle, and he's kind of a douchebag. So we have Althea and Kyle duking it out. We have Kyle's son Wintro, who is studying to be a priest. He wants nothing to do with the live ship, but you need someone of Vestrit blood, and since Kyle was married into the family, he needs Wintro to stay on the ship so that way the live ship will communicate with him and obey his commands because he's a blood relative. Althea has essentially been kicked off the ship. We have the first mate, Brashen, who was Althea's father's first mate. He ends up getting kicked off the ship. Then we have the live ship, Vivacia, who is a character in her own right. We have Kefria and Ronica. Kefria is Althea's older sister. We have Ronica, who is Althea's mother. And then we have Malta, who is Althea's niece and Kyle's daughter and is such a brat. And then, of course, we have the Captain Kennett, who is our main pirate character, and then we have his whole pirate crew. There's a lot of moving pieces in Ship of Magic, and you would think that each character would be hard to follow along with, but it's really not, because the way that Robin Hobb has introduced each character to us, we start with 3, then we move on to a few more, then we move on to a few more, and then we move on to a few more. So by the time we get to the end of it, we have read from the perspective of probably about 8 different characters, but you know each of one of them intimately before you move on. It would be easy to say that Kyle and Captain Kennett are just douchebags, and they're mustache twirling, and they're single one-note villains, but none of the people in this story are one note at all. They're so incredibly complex. Like, even though they do questionable things, because you've been spending a lot of time in their head, what turned the tide for me with this book was just realizing that this story was a story about family and the different dynamics of family, especially within the Vestrits. The characters in here are just wonderful, diverse, complex. You read from the perspective of just as many female characters as you do male characters, so you get a really good mix. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about the characters in this book. So overall, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. Even though I'm speaking so highly of it, everybody's like, why did you rate it 4 stars and not 5 stars? Trust me, it's like on the edge. It's on the edge, but it did take me roughly 230 to 300 pages to really decide that I liked this book. And then the last major chunk of it, I was in it to win it. I was in it all the way. I was a huge Vestrit family and Ship of Magic fan, but it did take me some perseverance to get through that initial part because of my predisposed prejudices against pirate books. I think if you didn't have that, you would be like, yes, live ship traders. If you like pirates, you're not going to have that problem. For me, it was a journey. It was like a 200 and 300 page journey to get over that hatred of pirates. So overall, like I said, 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know what you think of Ship of Magic and we can have this amazing discussion. Stay tuned for my spoilery gush video because there are some things that I would like to talk about that are going to be a few spoilers. So thank you so much for tuning in. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's at WhatCastRead, the same as this channel, so you can see what I'm up to as far as my reading. And of course, you can follow me on Goodreads if you're not into other social media. Otherwise, you know how these videos end. I'll talk to you later. Bye.